But let's jump in and just read this article. And guys, please mount that like button for me if you would be so kind. And if you want to subscribe to my serious Substack while you're here, of course you can always head over to Carlyn KARLYN.substack.com, and that is where you're gonna get my Unwoke content. That is probably a more productive way to spend your time. But that's not what we're doing tonight. I don't know that we're gonna watch the whole 3 hours, Sam. Don't worry about it. But let's read this article and get caught up. I don't know how much we're going to watch of Nick Fuentes. I just want to hear the parts about Marjorie. That's what I'm interested in. I want to hear what Nick Fuentes has to say about this. And apparently he wants to talk about other things too, and he'll probably do his own super chats for a while. So I strongly doubt we're going to go the whole 3 hours, all right? And also, I do need to go to bed at some point. Anyway, Stop the Steal organizer apologizes after being accused of asking teen boys for dick pics. A key figure in the pro-Trump Stop the Steal campaign has apologized after being accused of asking teenage boys for sexual pictures. Ali Alexander has become one of the most ubiquitous figures in the MAGA movement. I don't know about that. Trump himself reportedly requested that Alexander speak at his rally before the riot, with his appearance only quashed by last-minute intervention from Trump's aides. Well, Trump's aides were very smart for that. But this week, Alexander stands at the center of a scandal that raises questions about how powerful men in the far right treat their younger acolytes. Well, we all knew what was going on. This is not a secret. This is too gay. Alexander said in a statement issued Friday night that addressed the allegations in broad terms. Alexander, who describes himself as bisexual in the past, added that he was battling with same-sex attraction because he's not bisexual. He's gay. They're all gay. Nick Fuentes is gay. Milo Yiannopoulos is gay. They're all fucking gay. The budding online scandal has also roiled the pro-Trump and white supremacist America First movement. Just months, they're not even pro-Trump anymore. What are you talking about? Nick Fuentes works for Kanye West. They're not pro-Trump anymore. That's just not true. I'm sorry. It's not. Accuracy matters. I'm not defending Nick Fuentes. I'm just saying he's not pro-Trump anymore. He works for Kanye West. Just months after it reached new levels of notoriety after its leader, Nick Fuentes, dined with Donald Trump and rapper Kanye West at Mar-a-Lago. Now Fuentes is facing backlash from his own supporters over whether he ignored warnings that Alexander, his friend and ally, was allegedly soliciting nude pictures from young men within Fuentes' movement. On Friday night, Alexander, who was questioned by the House January 6 committee about his role in organizing a canceled rally dubbed the Wild Protest, I've never heard it dubbed that, outside of the Capitol, which drew crowds to the building right before the riot began, issued a statement on Friday night offering a general apology. I apologize for any inappropriate messages sent over the years, Alexander wrote, adding later, when I flirted or others have flirted with me, I've flexed my credentials or dropped corny pickup lines. Other times I've been careless and should have qualified those coming up to me's identities during flirtatious banter at the start. Okay. Alexander didn't respond to requests from the Daily Beast. In his statement, he claimed he'd also been targeted by false allegations and edited screenshots of his messages, but declined opportunities to point out which accusers or screenshots aren't legitimate. Rumors about Alexander's alleged sexual behavior towards younger men have circulated in conservative online circles since at least 2015, but they reached a new level late last month after Milo Yiannopoulos, who is always involved in all shenanigans and nonsense, the controversial British provocateur and one-time Alexander ally, turned on Alexander after Alexander and Fuentes pushed him out of a potentially lucrative position in West Nason's presidential campaign. So like I said, Milo Yiannopoulos got in a fight with Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes won. Milo got fired. Now Milo is exerting revenge. Yiannopoulos started releasing video interviews and other evidence meant to prove that Alexander sexually propositioned both adult men in their 20s, or at least 2 teenagers. Yiannopoulos, whose own career as a far-right pundit imploded in 2017 after remarks he made downplaying the seriousness of pedophilia surfaced, claims he has more damaging videos to release about Alexander and Fuentes. I love it when these people fight. It's so beautiful. It's glorious. It's just like all these people know how to do is like it's like war with each other. It's just like from watching from like a detached perspective, I don't even care who wins. I'm here for the show. Does anyone else feel like that? Are you I mean, you're watching my stream, so I'd assume you're somewhat interested. Like, are you as interested in just like the nonsense and the chaos going on in this little Kanye West dark corner of the internet as I am? It's just like I don't even have a favorite. I don't care who wins. It's just funny. It's entertaining. It's better than anything you'll see on TV. It's like our own reality TV show, except it's not on like broadcast TV or anything. It's not edited. It's like our own little juicy reality TV show. That's what's good about it. Yiannopoulos claims he's releasing the video against Alexander because Alexander dropped Yiannopoulos' name to entice young men. One screenshot purports to show Alexander dangling the prospect of meeting Yiannopoulos to a teenage boy. The reason I'm doing this is because he used my name, Yiannopoulos told the Daily Beast. In 2017, Aiden Duncan, a 15-year-old boy in Colorado interested in right-wing politics, sent Alexander nude pictures after the MAGA activists asked him for them, according to an account Duncan gave in March 2023 podcast appearance. Exactly. Are you not entertained? Well, Duncan was a high school sophomore just starting out in politics. Alexander was a 32-year-old with a decade of political work for the Republican Party behind him. And now he was willing to share the connections he had gained through that work with Duncan, as long as the teenager met certain preconditions, including secrecy. You'll have me sharing my entire network with you, Alexander told Duncan, according to a Snapchat screenshots reviewed by the Daily Beast. Originally from Dallas, Alexander pleaded guilty to felony property theft in 2007 and felony credit card abuse in 2008. But despite his criminal background, Alexander, who was then using his legal name, Ali Akbar, managed to rise in the GOP during the online conservative backlash to the Obama administration. Leveraging his position writing for blogs with names like Hip Hop Republican, Alexander received funding from billionaire conservative mega donor Robert Mercer, organized a national club for bloggers that later faced questions about how Alexander spent the money he raised, and hosted an annual party at CPAC. By 2017, Alexander had become an ardent Trump supporter with a passion for social media trash talk. He became a protege of MAGA figures like Roger Stone and InfoWars' Alex Jones, and ran with a group of other young MAGA internet provocateurs, including anti-Muslim activist Laura Loomer and blundering smear artist Jacob Wall. But in his messages to Duncan, according to the screenshots, there was one name Alexander dangled as a perk for the teenager if he kept up contact with Alexander, Milo Yiannopoulos. In a September 4, 2017 exchange about an upcoming trip Alexander was planning, Alexander purportedly told Duncan he would introduce the teenager to Yiannopoulos and speculated about whether the boy would be Alexander's arm candy and suggested the boy would have to be entertaining. Rolling with me, Alexander wrote, according to his messages. Mostly, I'll have an entourage. Depends. Depends. If it's me babysitting you during the day, then no. I don't have kids. If it's something more entertaining, then maybe. All depends on what we're up to. No matter what, I'll let you meet Milo. There's probably 5 people I'll introduce to him, but who will be my arm candy? And the one with me, always in VIP and in out. Well, that is to be determined by the boy who plays his cards the most correct. Isn't he a pompous asshole? Arm candy greater than babysitting, Alexander added, according to the screenshot. Other screenshots show Duncan sending Ali a picture, which was rejected in a version of the screenshot reviewed by the Daily Beast. Alexander responded with the face with heart eyes emoji, asking the teenager which app Alexander should use to send him money. Undated series of screenshots purport to show Alexander laying out rules for his contact with the teenager, many of them stressing secrecy and a sort of quid pro quo relationship between sexual availability and career opportunities. Everything is secret and private, one rule read, we're family. Another said that Duncan was allowed to say no, but that Alexander might deprive him of something unspecified in return. Boundaries are cool, the message read, allowed to say no. However, the less you deprive me of, the less I deprive you of. I'm a big sharing person unless it's not even. Finally, according to the messages, Alexander asked Duncan to be mindful of each other's reputation. In an appearance last month on a podcast hosted by white supremacist Richard Spencer, who voted for Joe Biden, Duncan claimed that Alexander wanted him to fly to Texas and to be his intern, assuring the teenager that the boy could just lie to his parents and say he was going to a swim meet. Oh, isn't that nice? But Alexander had grown frustrated by May of 2019, claiming that the still underage Duncan wouldn't send him good jack-off material, according to the screenshots. You don't even send me videos anymore, Alexander wrote, according to the messages. No good jack-off material. Don't even want to be my side piece. A day later, according to screenshots, he asked Duncan to come to Texas for a week for an internship. Duncan, now 21, has since become a relatively high-profile member of Nick Fuentes' racist America First movement, going by the name Smiley. On Spencer's podcast, Duncan said he believed Fuentes knew about the rumors about Alexander's alleged solicitation of nude pictures. I think Nick is 100% aware, Duncan said on his podcast. Last Thursday, Duncan posted a statement on Twitter about his communications with Alexander. When I was 15, I was naive and desperate, Duncan wrote. I thought I had no choice but to cooperate with inappropriate and humiliating requests if I wanted to make it in politics. I figured that was just the nature of the game. Alexander started messaging 17-year-old Lance Johnston in the summer of 2019, according to Johnston. The floppy-haired teen was a rising star on conservative TikTok communities, amassing more than 140,000 followers under the screen name Lance Videos. Johnston and Alexander started exchanging messages about politics. Johnston claims that a friend warned him early into the communications that Alexander has a history of asking for sexually explicit pictures. My friend at the time had told me that he had heard some weird rumors about him, Johnston told the Daily Beast. At first, I was kind of like, I don't know. I was 17, I had just gotten into politics. Alexander moved oddly quickly towards discussing sex with the teenager, according to Johnston. In July 2019, in what Johnston claimed was the night of the White House social media summit, where Trump feted Alexander and other conservatives as victims of online censorship, the 34-year-old Alexander used the eggplant emoji to ask the teenager for pictures of his penis, according to a screenshot. Show me your eggplant, Alexander wrote, according to the messages. What's that? Johnston said. OMG, dick, Alexander wrote back, according to the picture. Johnston said he refused and quickly blocked Alexander. Johnston took a screenshot of the exchange, but he was fearful of raising the issue more broadly on the far right. I thought in my mind that he would try his best to try to discredit me and ruin me politically and influentially with my time in politics, Johnston said. Still, a friend of Johnston's publicized the screenshot, which began circulating in conservative circles. Alexander took to a video live streaming app to defend himself. You can have any conversation you want with someone who's 17, Alexander said. The eggplant emoji screenshot gained new circulation in far-right circles in 2022 as Alexander and Fuentes achieved prominence as members of the West's entourage. That's when Johnston claimed Fuentes said he asked him to say in a text message to Alexander that the screenshot had been doctored and apologized. Presumably the text message could be itself be screenshotted and used to discredit Johnston. Nick personally asked me to apologize to Ali for supposedly faking the message, Johnston said. Fascinating. But Johnston insists the eggplant screenshot is legitimate. In exchange for disowning the eggplant exchange, according to Johnston, Fuentes and Alexander offered to get him a job in politics. Basically, they wanted me to lie, apologize to Ali, and then they said they would try to get me a job, Johnston said. Fuentes denied Johnston's claims about him in an email to the Daily Beast. I never offered Lance Johnston a job, nor did I urge him to disavow a screenshot, Fuentes wrote. In a post on a social media app, Telegram, Fuentes claimed that Johnston was using the screenshot to extort Alexander into giving him a job on West's campaign. 4 years later, Johnston thinks Alexander used his prominence in the MAGA movement for very creepy ends. You think? No person like Ali should ever be near politics. Well, I don't agree with that. Ali Alexander fits into politics absolutely perfectly. There are so many people exactly like Ali Alexander in the political space. It's why I have tried my level best to detach myself from it. It's really bad. The Eggplant Exchange is a genius name for a gay bar. It really is, Love Cat. It really is. Alexander, who has described his ethnicity as half black, half Arab, says he's bisexual, might seem like an unusual ally for an avowed racist and homophobic American First movement led by Nick Fuentes, except when you realize that Nick Fuentes is gay. But Fuentes, a 24-year-old who marched at the white supremacist rally in Charlottesville with a long history of racist, anti-Semitic, and sexist remarks, has appeared frequently with Alexander at events like Stop the Steal rally in Georgia in 2020. I was actually at that rally. Fun fact. I was at that rally. The pair would later be arguably the most prominent far-right figures in West's short-lived, virulently anti-Semitic presidential campaign after Yiannopoulos' ouster. In text messages reviewed by the Daily Beast, Yiannopoulos warned Fuentes in broad terms about his ally's reputation. Alexander wants to come to your events to have sex with underage boys, Yiannopoulos wrote in January 2022, text to Fuentes. Snap out of it. As the allegations mounted against Alexander over the weekend, Fuentes says he disavowed Alexander's actions and called them gross, but accused Yiannopoulos of sitting on claims until he could use them to get revenge on his rivals from the West campaign. That's absolutely true. In a Telegram post, Fuentes also blamed Duncan and Johnston for flirting with Alexander to advance their careers. Duncan and Lance were willing to go along with flirting with Ali to varying degrees without any protest because they thought it would advance their political careers, Fuentes wrote. If you are flirting with an adult gay man because you think it's going to land you a job, you know full well what you're doing and it's gross. You know, for all his faults, Nick Fuentes is actually not wrong about that. I mean, I'm not saying it's gross. I don't care either way. Flirt with whoever you want to. It makes no difference to me. But Nick Fuentes is correct that if you're flirting with an adult gay man because you think it's going to land you a job, you absolutely know what you're doing. 100%. Sorry, but even at 15, I would have sent nudes to an adult gay man. There's something wrong there. Or I would never have, oh, excuse me, Freudian slip because Nick Fuentes is obviously gay. I would never have sent nudes to an adult gay man. Exactly, Tim. Broken clock. Exactly. Fuentes added that the real victim in this entire saga is me. The real victim in this is Nick Fuentes. Sure. In a self-pitying post, he referred to himself as an incel, internet slang for involuntarily celibate. Sounds like everybody involved got what they wanted, Fuentes wrote, except me, the incel, who is now somehow being blamed for things I had nothing to do with. This isn't the first time Fuentes' racist group has been dogged by accusations of inappropriate sexual behavior regarding children. In August, Fuentes' associate Alejandro Richard Velasquez Gomez was arrested and charged with possessing child porn. Oh, I didn't know that. Velasquez, who went by Latino Zoomer online, had been photographed with Fuentes, also faces charges over allegedly threatening a conference held by a rival conservative group. That sounds like it's pretty much par for the course. The accusations against Alexander and his apology have already alienated far-right figures. I don't know how to pronounce. Oh, Baked Alaska. The far right provocateur known as Baked Alaska, he's such an asshole, who was recently released from a prison term for his role in the Capitol riot, posted a statement on Sunday saying he would not work with Ali in any capacity moving forward. So Ali admitted to sending inappropriate messages and flirting with young boys, pro-Trump rapper Bryson Gray tweeted, disgusting. I think Mike Cernovich also denounced Ali. Despite his Friday night apology, Alexander struck a more defiant tone hours later in a bizarre late night Telegram audio stream from what appeared to be a karaoke bar. As an amateur performance of Billy Joel's You May Be Right played in the background, Alexander told an acquaintance that his life had become a reality show revolving around one question: implode or not implode. It's going to be one heck of a night, guys. Asked by someone on the stream whether he wanted to perform karaoke, Alexander demurred. I'm in the middle of a scandal, Alexander said at one point. I can't do karaoke. I'm in the middle of a scandal that I'm going to survive. I feel like there needs to be some sort of t-shirt that's like Ali Alexander like going, no, like defiantly denying karaoke. It's like, no karaoke. No, I don't have time for you right now. I'm in the middle of a scandal. I'm gonna do an AI art of Ali Alexander singing karaoke, and I'm gonna caption it, I'm in the middle of a scandal, like he's singing it like Sammy Davis Jr. Come on, that's a good idea. You have to admit, that's a really good idea. He's in the eye of the tiger. Yes. Yes, John Morgan, you need to write a fanfic about this immediately. John Morgan, yes, John Morgan is here. He it's all of a sudden feels like a fanfic. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's the end of the article. All right. So basically, all of the facts that I articulated earlier to you appear to be founded in this article, which is that Ali Alexander was caught asking for dick pics from like a lot of underage boys, and Milo Yiannopoulos is releasing all this information as some form of revenge against Ali Alexander and Nick Fuentes. And then Marjorie Taylor Greene inserted herself into the situation because Milo Yiannopoulos works for Marjorie Taylor Greene. And so Marjorie Taylor Greene publicly denounced Ali and told the FBI to investigate him. And then Nick Fuentes announced in his Telegram group just the other night, America First is live tonight discussing the smear job against me by Monkey Marjorie Greene and her pedo Jew consultant.